Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. I am Geneva Rose. Here on my channel, you can find all things related to spirituality, self-love, dance, good vibes, and videos just like this. So if you are vibing, just keep on watching. Let's just get right into it. Euphoria Season 2 Review and Reflection. This season was so impactful, and I truly feel like it took the world by storm. I watched season 1, but I didn't watch it weekly. When it first came out, I watched it after it already came out, and I watched and binged the whole season. So season 2, it just felt like every week everyone was talking about it, and it felt like the whole there are very few shows, a lot of shows will be popular, but there are very few shows that I feel like make that impression on so many different people, and also so many different age groups, people younger than me, people older than me, people my age. We're all just fascinated and enamored by this show and by the whole storyline and by the cinematography and just the actors and the actresses and just everything. It was just incredible and amazing, and that's why I just really wanted to make this video and just share my thoughts, because I just feel like it's such a fun thing to talk about, but it also, when you really psychoanalyze it and self-reflect upon it, you can honestly just take so much emotional depth and connection to the characters and to the storyline. And I really felt this season more than ever I could emotionally resonate with so many things that the characters were going through, even if I personally am not an addict like Rue, or a psycho like Nate, but we'll talk about them. Even if I'm not them, I felt like a lot of people, myself included, felt like we could emotionally connect to what the characters were going through, and I feel like that's what makes the show so impactful, and so it creates this connectivity. And then you can see the glimmer of the darkness and the light between each character. You can see the hope of where each character, you could see at the end of the season, Rue finally found her hope. She kind of found her light, and you can see how each character can kind of go in either direction. You could see how this character could change, they could heal, they could grow, they could become better, they could take accountability, or they could just get deeper and deeper. Hello, Cassie. They could just get deeper and deeper into their drama, into their problems, into their mind. And you really seen just all of that play out this season, and it was just incredible. It was just incredible. So I first want to just talk about, can we just talk about how visually beautiful this season was, just how beautiful it was shot. I feel like every episode literally felt like a film. It felt like a short film, the way it was shot, the way it was felt, the lighting. It was just incredible. Props to everyone that was part of that production team, because you really that show would not be what it is, of course, without the actors and without the writers and all that stuff. But the production team, the way that whole show is shot, it would not be what it is without that entire production team. So kudos to y'all, and just amazing. It was just shot so beautifully, one of the best shows I've seen in a really long time, as far as the way it was shot and the emotional connectivity that you could literally feel between the lighting of each scene and the transitions of each scene, and just certain stills. It was just oh my god, you could just feel it. It was just so artistic and so beautiful, and I really like that. That's one of my favorite things about this show, is how visually captivating and beautiful and powerful it is. The whole cast is beautiful and really captivating, and they have this very unique energy to them that I feel really translates on the screen. So kudos to the casting as well. The whole production team, I already said that, but I have the biggest crush on Zendaya and on Alexa Demi, I'm sure. I feel the whole world feels like that right now, though. I feel everyone has the biggest crush on them right now, myself included. So not gonna lie about that. But I just want to get straight into the character, straight into each character, and just kind of break down different scenes and different characters, and just what I emotionally took from each character, and different scenes, and just shoot the shit. You know what I'm saying? Shoot the shit. Let's just start off with, of course, Rue. Come on. So compared to how the season ended to how the season started, oh my god, she was cracked out, baby girl. Baby girl was cracked out. And like at first you don't realize like how serious it is, but then like when Elliot comes in and he's like, we've been doing heroin, I'm like, I'm sorry, heroin? Like I didn't realize, like I guess I just didn't remember from season 1. I didn't realize like that she was doing like heroin. Like I'm thinking she's just doing like coke and pills, and not to say either or is better or worse, but come on, heroin, you, whew, all the way at the brink. You're on the brink of death. But truly, like, I did not realize that she was doing, like, coke, pills, opiates, like, all that. And, like, oh my God. And from, like, just the first episode when all of that happens at the New Year's party, like, you immediately are brought into the reality of back in Rue's mind of baby girl still addicted to drugs. Baby girl still doesn't see herself as, like, a person worthy of any type of love. She doesn't see any humility or humanity within herself. She just sees her unworthiness. She just sees her pain, and therefore she just sees the sorrow of her dad's passing within her mind. And, you know, I feel like this theme was playing throughout Rue's storyline of like, you know, everyone tells you, and they kind of get to it at that season finale, you know, where she's talking about how like everyone says this happens for a reason, but I guess you have to give it a reason. But throughout the entire season, you can kind of see how Rue is in so much anger, I think, of her father's death because of that specific reason. She's trying to understand, why did this have to happen to me? Why did I deserve this? You keep telling me this, that life is worth living, all these things, but like life does not feel like worth living because someone that I loved the most was taken from me, and I don't understand how that's okay, or how I'm supposed to move on and think life is dandy when my father got taken from me, especially at such a young age. And you can kind of just see how emotionally heavy and present that thought process and that emotional narrative was for her. And you could just feel it. You could just see her drowning her thoughts, her pain with drugs, but really with her just unhappiness and her sadness. And it was such a hard thing to continue to watch every episode, because I feel like you see it within all the characters, but with Rue especially, I just feel like I could see just the beauty in her. Like and that's what I feel like was all so painful for us all to watch, is because we're watching someone that has such a beautiful light, that has such a beautiful energy, and that just seems like such a good person, but they just can't see it, and they just keep destroying themselves over and over and over and over again, like to the point where it was like, what is it gonna take? And we've seen what it was gonna take for her to change. We don't know how long this change will last, because I will say, if we caught it, the specific words that she said at the end, she was like, I stayed clean through the rest of the school year. Now, to me, everyone was like, oh my God, that's amazing, she stayed clean. No. Because she could say, I stayed clean through the rest of the school year. She didn't say, I'm clean, as in the present moment, I am clean and I'm staying clean in this present moment. She said the rest of the school year, which means she is out of the rest of the school year at that point that she's like narrating the show. So I think baby girl gonna get back on drugs. I don't know. Don't want to put that out there, but you know, this is Euphoria. This is Euphoria. But what I will say is that we've seen this season what it was gonna take for her to hit rock bottom. And can we just mention, Zendaya, did she have to do some Olympic training for the scene where she was running around the whole town, almost got hit by a car, Girl, don't even get me started on Lori. She almost got herself pimped the fuck out. And I seen people online being like, oh my God, Lori was being nice. I'm like, nice? Baby girl had a suitcase full of drugs talking about, I don't have no pills. She's a drug dealer. She's moving real weight up in that bitch. She has plenty of fucking drugs. Y'all are tripping to believe she was trying to pimp her the fuck out, drug her the fuck up. She was like, oh, baby girl, you don't got that money, but you got something that all men want. And she was right. She was like, no problem. You don't have the money? No problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drug you the fuck up, and I'm going to lock you inside my fucking house. Who the fuck locks someone inside their house? Literally inside. Inside. That was scary as fuck. That's like my nightmare. Getting locked inside someone's house is fucking scary as fuck. And it also just shows like like if Rue could just take all that passion and energy she has to survive and like to get her next high and put it into something constructive, baby girl, you will soar. That will to live that she had to keep going, to keep going, to keep going, to keep going. Most people would have just gave up and would have said, fuck it. Hopefully my mom comes and finds me because I'm gonna just be pimped out, just drugged out. She was literally about to pimp her out. When she was in that tub, she was like, all I have is morphine. I said, no. And Rue was just so fucked up and so like strung out that she's just like, yeah, give me the morphine. It's fine. I'm like, no, like, I know you're doing heroin, but like, let's not do anything else. And that was just so crazy. But in a certain way, like, obviously what Lori's not doing, what she's doing is not right in the context of the show or in reality. But at the same time, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. You took this bitch's suitcase worth 10 grand. That's your fucking problem. She told you, I will fucking sell you to people. She told you, I will sell you. So you cannot be mad when that bitch was about to sell you because you didn't have her money. She told you what the fuck it is. Rue was just really going through it this season. And her and Jules, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I do not like Jules. I do not like Jules. I do not like her character. From the moment she came into Rue's life, she was making it worse. You cannot try to be in a relationship with someone who is a recovering addict. And not even recovering. She's still an addict. She's still doing heroin. You can't be in a relationship with her. And I feel like Jules was mature enough to understand that, but wanted Rue's love. So she didn't care. She didn't care about what she was going to put her through. She just cared about what she was going to get and what she needed at that time. You could see how when she left her, and I know some people were making I seen like on Twitter and stuff, people were making the parallels of like in the end of season 1 when Jules left Rue and kind of chose herself. I'm like, really? She chose herself, or was she just being selfish once again? This girl's an addict. Why are you trying to take her away from her home when she's trying to get better? You don't think of anyone but yourself. And this is why I do not like Jules. And then once again, at the season finale, when she comes up to her and she says, I love you. I miss you. I'm like, I love you. I miss you. That's what you have to say? After all that stuff that's happening, what you need to say is, I love you and I miss you? No. What you needed to say was, I'm sorry that I had to do that, but I felt like it was the only way that I could help you, and I hope you get better. And walk away. Be mature. I feel like that I love you and I miss you was trying to pull her back in, and it was opening this doorway of, I'm still here for you if you want to go back down our saga of drama. Meanwhile, you fucked Elliot. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Are we just going to skip and bypass that, and then we're going to skip and bypass Elliot's little song? I'm like, excuse me. When are y'all going to admit, obviously, this is setting up stuff for season 3. We know. But it's like, excuse me. You need to go tell Rue. Obviously, maybe in that moment it wasn't okay because Rue's going through a lot. She may have not been able to emotionally handle that. So we'll give her that. But I just don't like Jules' character. And that's why, even though when she went crazy in that bedroom, first of all, Zendaya gonna get an Oscar or something for that scene. We all are saying it. It's the truth, because that was one of the most amazing, incredible scenes of that entire show, season 1 and season 2 included. When she broke down that door, when she was in her mom's face, when she was in Jules' face, when she bitch slapped Elliot on his forehead, I was like, oh my fucking God, Rue, you were gone, baby girl, gone. You're not even there anymore. Mayday. CPR. Beep, beep on the chest. Because you're not there. You're not there. But you know what made me mad about that entire scene? Is they made it seem like Rue was so upset just because she was trying to do drugs. I'm like, no. Baby girl knows that suitcase, she better get that money or she better get that suitcase. And y'all over here just, like, what did you think? And to Elliot's snake ass. I'm like, okay, Elliot, you're doing drugs too. So you would have to think to yourself, where do you think Rue is getting these drugs? A suitcase full of drugs? You know how much that costs. You know what it took for her to get that. You have some idea that doesn't belong to her, and you still went about it I don't want to say in the wrong way, because at the end of the day, somebody did need to like pull the plug on Rue's behavior and tell her mom and tell someone, get some type of help. I just didn't feel fully comfortable with it being Jules and Elliot, especially because Jules, weren't you selling that pussy for money? Weren't you selling that pussy for money? Weren't you fucking old men? But you want to talk about me and my bullshit? Oh, hell no. I know you're not going to call me out. You need to call yourself out. I get trying to help someone, but you need to hold yourself accountable before you try to hold me accountable. Okay? And then Elliot. And then we finally get to the season finale and he says, yeah, I'm still doing drugs. I'm like, you had the audacity, even though Rue needed the help, you had the audacity to call me out for doing drugs. Meanwhile, you're still doing them. What's that saying? The pot calling the kettle black. I'm like, are you crazy? Are you really crazy? Like, Rue freaking out in that room also should have shown you how far this drugs is going to take you. And I get addiction is a tricky thing. It's not just, oh, wow, someone's struggling, I should stop. I get that. But I just don't get, another crackhead can't call out another crackhead for doing crack. You're a crackhead too. Go to rehab together. Go get help. Like, you can't call me out on my bullshit when you're still living in your bullshit. I just didn't like that. But I did love Elliot's song. I loved Elliot's song, and I know a lot of people were hating it, but I loved it. I need that song on Spotify ASAP because I loved it. I thought it was so beautiful, and it was written by Zendaya, and I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name, but the composer Labyrinth, I don't know, but he's amazing. Oh my God, that song is amazing. I'm Tired is amazing. Oh my God, I love that song. But I loved Elliot's song. I thought he sang it so beautifully. I just thought it was so random. Like, I was waiting for it to end. It was literally like a 10-minute song. Meanwhile, I'm trying to watch Maddie beat Cassie's ass finally. I'm trying to see what Nate's finna do. I'm trying to see what's happening with Fez. I'm trying to see what's happening with Fez. And Elliot's over here singing a musical note. I was like, I thought he was going to sing for a minute. He sang for 5. And in the context of a show, 5 minutes is a lot. 5 minutes is a lot. And it was just straight on him. You're just watching him and play that guitar for 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm loving the song, but I think we could have done a minute. It could have been a minute. But for dramatic effect, I felt like it was connective. And then when he was like, oh, do you think we can be friends again? I was like, no. Because in my ideal world, what I would have wanted, I wanted Rue and Elliot to get together. I thought they would be such a cute couple on the show. But then, now it's not going to work because if Rue stays sober, like a recovering crackhead can't be with someone who's still a crackhead. And even 2 recovering crackheads, I don't know. I'm sorry if a crackhead is offensive, but that's just a little bit of a crackhead. You know what I'm saying? The drama this season was just extreme. It was crazy. And let me just say, I do not like Cassie. Do not like her. Do not like her. Do not like her. Do not like her. And I know people were trying to see the humility in her. And there's humility and humanity within all the characters and that's what I meant when I first started this video. And I said, you can feel the emotional connection to all of them. And you can see how they're going on such a deep end because, like, the pain that they're going through. And I get that. But what pissed me off more and more about Cassie's character throughout the season is she was showing no signs of like redemption or accountability. She was going deeper and deeper and deeper into, I'm the victim. And I was just like, are you crazy? Like, when her mom yelled at her, she needs a fucking exorcism. I was like, not your mom having to call you out on doing something shady to your best friend. That's embarrassing. That's really embarrassing. Like, your mom should not be calling you out on some stuff like that. She was like, they weren't together. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? That's your excuse to being shady to your best friend? Because not just is this your best friend's ex, which we all know that's unacceptable, especially if you're a woman. Even with men, women do not cross that boundary. That is a no. But then he's an abusive psycho. What are you doing? You look like a clown. You look crazy on top of crazy. And you're still trying to just be like, I didn't know him the way I know him now. And I was like, I don't care how you know him. I don't care if you know his mom, his dad, his brother, his sis, his aunt, his cousin, his high school nightmares, his high school dreams. I don't care. It's wrong. And you're still choosing to ignore it because you, and this where it goes back to that humanity. She wants love so bad that she's willing to accept losing her best friend because she needs love. And obviously your best friend can't love you the way like a partner is going to love you. And that's the love I think she really needed. And you could see from that scene when her and Nate were on the bed and she was like, you can pick what I wear, you can pick what I eat, and you can pick who I talk to. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. I was like, if this is not the poster for daddy issues, I don't know what is. And it was just so sad to me. And I guess when you look at Cassie through the lens of seeing someone who just so desperately wants to be loved, you're able to have compassion for her. But in the context of just looking at her actions, I have no respect for her. No respect for her. And then I really didn't like how she tried to go on that stage at the end and embarrass her sister because I know she felt her sister wasn't going to defend herself. She could just go up there and try to embarrass her and put her down. In reality, I'm like, you're mad at her for what you've done. You're embarrassed at your own actions. She is portraying you guys to the T of who you are. You're mad at yourselves because this is who you are. And her showing that to the world makes it not only more real for you, but for the rest of the world. So now there's nowhere for you to run. Just like Nate, when he's seen that whole musical note, the gay musical note, which can I just say that was absolutely sensational. That was incredible. He was just like, that was so homophobic. I was like, dude, it was not homophobic. You're just like mad that you may be gay, bi-curious, bisexual, pansexual, just sexually fluid, and you haven't came to terms with that yet within yourself. So someone else finally saying it out loud because you think it's just in your mind and it's not. And you can finally see that everyone can see it as well. It's not just inside of you. It was too much. And you could see that. It's just amazing to me that Nate and Cassie were hit the most because they were the shittiest characters of this entire season. You know, everyone had their faults and everyone had their ways that you could look at them and be like, damn. But they were the shittiest characters this season. And that's why they ended up together. And it was just so sad. I couldn't believe that Cassie really got with Nate. I was really just so disappointed. I was like, this has to be like not real. And from the moment that they were that first episode where the season premiere, when it's like she's out the car window and that she was turned on by him drinking a beer and driving so fast. I'm like, why are you turned on by this? I would be like, stop the car. Let me get the fuck out. I don't care where the fuck we are. I'd rather walk than be in this car with you, drunk as fuck, driving fast as fuck, trying to prove that you're a big boy, trying to prove your big fat ego to me. You're lame. And then you're going to take off your panties to show him your... Girl, bye. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. But kudos to Maddie, because she handled that like a real bitch. I was so disappointed she couldn't beat Cassie's ass more. I was like, a slap and a throw to the wall is all we get. A bloody nose is all we get. I wanted to see her get punched. I'm sorry. I'm usually not for violence, but I wanted to see her get her ass beat because I felt like she deserved it. That scene, I feel like we've finally seen this season Maddie mature, and we finally seen like the humanity in her more. Like the first season, I feel like everyone was so enamored with Maddie's character just because she was sexy and confident and bold and outspoken and just boom, boom, I'm here, bitch. And not many people can be like that. Like one of the things that she said this season that really shows you like her level of confidence, like when she had that whole scene with Lexi and she's telling her Like, the thing with confidence is no one knows if it's real or not. I used to feel stupid and I just chose not to. And you really can see, like, Maddie chooses to be confident. She chooses to show up as her fullest self. But I think this season we were able to see her not just be this confident character, but see like her heart space, her emotions, like that scene with Nate where she was like, do you feel loved by me? Like, did you really feel loved? And when he was like, I think he said like, I don't know, you could see that really hurt her feelings. Let's, taking out the fact that he was an abusive psycho, you could still see like, dang, like she really is hurt by the fact that like he may not have felt loved by her. And that scene where Maddie's like banging on the door and Cassie ran away from her when Rue finally, says, Cass, I have a question. How long have you been fucking Nate Jacobs? I was like, like, and then she tried to say, I don't even know why she would say that. I was like, because that's what you did. That's why she would say that. And she's trying to escape. Like, she's cracked out. She's strung out. She's trying to like escape. So of course she's going to call you out because it's going to take the pressure and the light off of her and put it on to you. And I just loved Cassie and Lexi's mom. That whole scene where she was like, how you doing, Rue? How you doing? She's like, you doing good? Good in school? Staying clean? Okay, that's great. And then she turns around and then she was like, she's not doing good. I love that. Like, the first season, I feel like Cassie and Lexi's mom, she just looked like kind of like a drunk and they made her look lame. But I feel like this season, again, with every single character, it's like you've seen more and more of their humanity and their lovability. And ultimately, that's what each character is looking for within themselves. They're looking to be loved. They want to be loved. They want other people to love them and they want to love themselves. And that's why they're on this desperate search and this desperate, path of pain in a lot of ways, because that's what they're trying to find. They're trying to somehow, with the fragments and pain of their life, somehow put a piece of love together within that drama and make it happen. And you could see that with every single character, even with Nate's dad. We finally seen why he is the way that he is, which I had compassion for that scene, that whole scene with like him and his high school boyfriend or best friend, which they were in love with each other. At the same time, I'm also like, why am I gonna feel bad for you? That was in high school. You're a grown-ass man in your 40s or 50s. And you think I'm supposed to feel bad for you because you're still choosing to live a lie? That's not my problem. That's yours. So that's not an excuse for you to now treat your children and your wife like shit. You chose to be with them. If you really wanted to be with your best friend, I would have been like, oh, you're pregnant? No problem. I'll be there for my kid, but I'm gay. Or I'm bisexual, or I'm pansexual, or I don't know what I am, but I know I don't want to be married to you. Like, be real. And I guess it was harder, character show. I get it. And that also is life. It's always not that easy to just come out and be who you are. But at the same time, why do I have to feel bad for you now? Because you've destroyed other people's lives in the process of you trying to figure out your own life. Not an excuse. It can be something, it's like an explanation, not an excuse. And I just loved when Nate finally, I thought he was going to shoot him, but he finally said, I'm just going to like tell the cops. And I think that was the right thing to do, because I think his dad does need to be held accountable for his actions. Like, you can't destroy other people and think you're just going to go on living, like your son is fucked up because of your bullshit. Your son's a sociopath. When it comes down to it, Nick Nate's literally has some serious mental health problems. He is a sociopath. He has no sense of social empathy or understanding. That's why he can do the things that he does, because he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand, but that's because he wasn't taught. He wasn't loved. Of course, he has to, at some point, take accountability for his actions. Again, that doesn't excuse, it explains. But it's like, your dad is a big part of why he was like that. Like, that whole scene with him pulling the gun out on Maddie, I feel like that was the moment where I was just like, okay, we might, like that scene. And then the finale, I had the most anxiety with those scenes the entire season, because I was like, I knew Nate was crazy, but I didn't think he was that crazy. And then he took Maddie's necklace and then gave it to Cassie, and Cassie's over here thinking, oh my God, it's so sweet. Sweet. He just pulled a gun out on your old best friend to give you that necklace. You're a bum, bitch. You're a bum. And you don't even know. You look dumb. You're a clown. You look dumb. Like, you look so dumb. And it just was so infuriating to see that, especially when you see how confident and dope. Like, I really liked the things that Jules was saying in the first like couple episodes when she's talking to Maddie, and she's like, I wish you could see yourself the way other people see you, you know, because it was the truth. And I think that happens with a lot of us, is like other people might see us so amazing, but we don't see that for ourselves. So it's really not reality because we don't feel or see that for ourselves. And I think that's portrayed in every character, is like their inability to see themselves for who they really are, see the humility and the humanity and their worthiness of being loved and being enough, that it causes them to go on spirals because they're searching. And I think that's also just part of life, and also part of being young, is figuring out who you are and what you are. And I know they're in high school, and I know people mention a lot of things about how like, oh my God, this is not realistic. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe I just had a different upbringing, which I can agree with, but I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, in my high school, people were definitely doing drugs, people were definitely drinking, people were definitely like selling drugs, people were definitely having sex, like people were definitely going through insecurities and pain and stuff like that. I'm like, that was a bit of a reality. And it's maybe not, my close friends weren't doing heroin, but that just wasn't my circle. But I'm sure there were a couple people that just did, because it just is what it is. I had people trying to get me to do ecstasy in high school. Like, I know a lot of people who did. Like, it's not what I feel like people who try to say, like, oh, Euphoria is so unrealistic. And I'm like, no, I feel like it's just showing like the far end of what things are. But when you think about a lot of the reasons in high school and just in life in general why we do the things that we do are because of the things that we go through. And you see that in each character in Euphoria. You see the reason why they do the things that they do and are the way that they are is because things that have happened to them. And you see that over and over again in this show, especially throughout season 2. So before we get into like the last part that I want to talk about, which is like Fez and Ashtray, I do want to acknowledge like the whole Jules and Elliot thing was just, it was just messy. It was just so messy, but Elliot's so damn sexy. It was hard to stay mad at him. I'm not going to lie. He's just so damn fine. I'm so glad he's on that show now. But it's just hard to stay mad at him. But as far as like an actual character on the show, I feel very indifferent about him. I don't like what he did to Rue. And then at the end wants to sing a song talking about how we're real friends. Are we really friends? Are we really friends? I don't think so. Because a real friend is not going to go fuck my girlfriend while we're together. Is not going to kiss my girlfriend while I'm in the bathroom. And then my girlfriend is not going to tell me, truth or dare, kiss him. Kiss the man that I want to fuck. So hopefully if we can get a threesome, I can get out of my guilt of wanting to fuck him. I did not like that shit. That's like a red flag in relationships. And, you know, that's a little side note. But it's like you can't have a threesome to like fix your relationship. Like if it takes someone else coming in to make your relationship good, maybe you don't need to be together. And that was just the whole thing with Rue and Jules. I'm like, I just don't like y'all together. You're both toxic for each other. Like, you're keeping Jules obviously in a pattern of not seeing herself and not taking accountability, and you're keeping Rue in cycles of constantly feeling unloved because she's giving you everything and she always feels like she's not getting it back. And I'm like, because she probably isn't. And she isn't. You keep seeing it over and over again. She's not getting treated with respect. And I really didn't like how like they tried to make it seem like Rue wasn't sexual, but then they had just hooked up and done stuff that same episode. I'm like, maybe she's trying. And if you really liked her, you would be patient and you would communicate, but you don't. You're just like talking about your relationship problems to Elliot, but you're supposed to be Rue's girlfriend and Elliot's supposed to be Rue's friend first and foremost. I'm like, weren't you mad at Elliot because you thought Rue had a crush on him? And now what, you want to fuck him? I was like, I don't understand. What happened to the original plot of the movie? What happened to it? What happened to it? Because I don't get it. But I am happy that things ended the way that they did for basically every single character. And to just get into Fez and Ashtray, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I do think it was necessary for Ashtray to die. I do think it was necessary because you could see he stabbed that guy a little too quick. He said, "What?" I was like, wait. He didn't even speak. He didn't even say, like, you could have put the knife up to his throat and said, like, "What the fuck are you doing, bitch? Like, why are you here?" And let's shout out to Faye. She could have done it sooner, but shout out to Faye. When she dropped that glass and said, "Shh," I was like, thank you, because we need to save Fez. I felt from the beginning of this season, though, that something was going to happen. Someone was going to die. I could feel it. For me personally, I'm sure other people probably felt this way, but I felt like an ominous tone to it. I felt like something's going to happen. Somebody's going to die, and it's not going to be Fez because they're setting up too many things with him and Lexi. Like, Lexi's amazing. Her play was amazing. I didn't talk about Lexi too much in this video, but I just want to say that she's absolutely amazing, and I really like her, and I connected more to her character this season than I ever had, especially when she was talking about how I live most of my life in my mind, and I just really connected to her character more than ever this season, and I just knew that nothing was going to happen to Fez, also because of how they were setting up the relationship with him and Lexi, and they were showing Fez's humanity more and more and more within each episode. They were showing like his softer side and showing like who he was inside when he was saying, "I want to live on a farm with family." Like, you've seen he didn't want to be this person that he was. He wanted to be someone else, and I think that's why I go to say that he wasn't Ashtray was meant to die, because it was like Fez couldn't move on with Ashtray. Like, Ashtray killed Mouse without even second thinking it. He killed the other guy without even, or almost killed him. I think the guy was screaming. I think we weren't 100% sure if he died or not, but he attacked him. He was, punching Nate's eye, which Nate's dad, we weren't mad. Cal, I wasn't mad at that, but his character was anger, and I think for that reason alone, you could see why he couldn't go with Fez forward, because we were seeing more and more, which I think we always knew, though, that was never Fez. He was never like this angry person. It was more like, this is the life that he was literally born into, so this is the lifestyle that he adapted to make it work and to make it happen. But you could tell that wasn't who he wanted to be. He wanted to be someone else, and when he was with Lexi, you could see he was being and becoming more of the person he truly wanted to be. But that whole scene with him and Ashtray was just so heartbreaking to see Ashtray die like that. I was hoping maybe Ashtray was gonna jump out the window or something, but no. He was in that room. But I just loved how, even though it was so hurtful and it was so painful, you seen, especially more than ever, the brotherhood that they had, the connection that they had. They were both willing to sacrifice themselves for the other, and that shows a lot about their character as individuals, and how Fez was immediately like, "No, I'm gonna give you a shot at life that I didn't have, and I don't want this to be you. You stabbed him partly for me, because you knew a lot of the reasons that Ashtray was doing the things that he was doing was to protect Fez and to protect the family and to protect what they were doing, their business, how they were maintaining their life. But it still didn't excuse like him just going off the deep end all the time." And when they had their like foreheads to each other and he was like, "I love you, brother," I was just like, you felt something was about to happen, because I'm like, this is the deepest moment we've ever seen between them, besides that first episode where you're seeing kind of like the prelude, or like, of how they came together, how they came to be. And that was the most connective moment that I think we had ever seen with those two characters, with Fez and Ashtray. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in season 3, and to see what's going to happen with Fez being probably in jail, or maybe out of jail in season 3. Who knows? It could be in the future. And to see that note for Lexi, how he just wanted to go to the play. I was like, oh my God, he just wanted to go to the play. She saved him the best seat in the house. and he couldn't go. That just hurt me so bad. But I know, just like life, sometimes when things so awful happen, it's because they're setting us up to grow in ways that we need to grow. You could see that even him being at the play was a growth moment for him, trying to move forward into a different energy. And unfortunately, it didn't work out the way he intended. He didn't intend to lose his brother that day, but he also didn't intend to get ratted on by that guy. I don't remember his name. He irrelevant. But he didn't intend to get ratted on. But that also sometimes is a price that you pay for being in, for back of letter terms, like being in the dope game. Like when you're selling drugs, when you're moving weight, when you're in that lifestyle, you need to expect and accept what's going to come with that. People ratting on you, people turning you in, potentially getting killed, going to jail. You need to accept that that's part of the lifestyle. And I think that was the moment where it was like it all combusted into one, because inevitably in that game, you're lucky if you get out of it. You know, a lot of people do. You're lucky if you get out of it, but a lot of people don't. They go to jail or they die. And that's just the reality of it. And I think we've seen that just spontaneous combustion happen for all of them. And it just hurts so badly to also see, you know, thankfully we didn't have to watch that, because as a viewer, I don't think we needed to see Ashtray get shot. I think seeing the red dot on his forehead was absolutely enough. It was traumatizing enough, especially because we all love Ashtray's character so much, even though like homie barely speaks, but he just has such a very powerful presence that you can feel. And the fact that Fez had to watch that, it was just like, why do we have to see this right now? Why does he have to see this? Like, I wanted him to close his eyes. I wanted him to just look away and be like, no, I don't want to see that. But I think also he had to see that because it wasn't real for him. He needed to see like, oh my God, like my brother. And then he was like stabbed and he was bleeding and they were like arresting him. I was like, where's the paramedics? He was shot. Put him on a gurney. Who cares about arresting him? Like, it's going to happen. Where's he going to go? Chain him to the hospital bed. Put him on a gurney. Like, who cares about arresting him? He's bleeding out. And then they didn't even try to move him when they were doing all those shots. And that's what I mean about cops. That's what I mean right there. Like, they weren't going to care if they killed him or not. It's, we're going to do what we came to do. And that's what it is. Thankfully, I'm hoping maybe in season 3, because Faye mentioned that thing. I thought you said it was Lori in the apartments. I thought like maybe that's going to set Rue up, hopefully, because I'm like, because that's going to be drama. That's going to be drama. She's going to have to get that money, or hopefully what Faye said turns him in. But just to wrap this all up, just an incredible season 2. I don't know what we're going to do till 2024. Oh my God, we have to wait that long for another season. But like, what do we expect? It takes so long to shoot, so long to edit, so long. I'm sure all the actors are also doing other things. It takes all that time to like shoot, edit, all that stuff. So, I mean, we have to kind of put a little bit of that into perspective. But it was just absolutely amazing. And I just love when shows, like I love like films and movies and shows and music and just that whole realm of artistic expression. And I just love when I can like psychoanalyze. And I think all of us were kind of really into just psychoanalyzing the characters this season and like seeing where we could feel the emotional connectivity with all of them and how it could connect and relate to us. And I think we've seen that more than ever this season. And I loved it. I felt, you know, very connected to all of the characters. Well, except Cassie and Nate. I don't resonate, but I can still see their humility and their humanity, because ultimately what them and what all the characters wanted, as I already mentioned, is just to be loved. And, you know, I think that's what we all want, is to be loved. And I think that's why Euphoria connects to us and we feel it so deeply, is because that's what we all want. We all just want to be loved. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this season as much as I did. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed talking and just sharing my perspective. It's been a vibe watching this whole entire season. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you super soon. More content coming. Make sure to follow me on all social media. I am Geneva Rose on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, Subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for new videos. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.